I've got it all going. G'day, how you all going? Perhaps a bit skewish. We got a bit of a storm happening, or about to happen here. You buggers stole an hour off me. I thought I'd have to do this at 12:30 p.m. and instead it's 11:30 p.m. So, where did you take that? When did you take it? I didn't see you steal an hour off of us Aussies. It's all right. In the next 2 weeks or so, we will also change the time. Well, it's another Friday night for you Americans. It's miscellaneous times across the planet, and my daughter's just turned up. Hey, I've got red hair too. Okay, got a few things to discuss. Welcome to all the newbies. Hello, my darling, how are you? Come and say hello to everybody that's not on VWC right this moment. Sure. Oh, we've got one watching. Say g'day, VWC.
G'day, VWC.
Nice to see you, darling.
Good to see you too.
I'm sorry, I just made coffee, but you turned up just as I was walking out.
I don't have time for it anyway because I've got to go pick up more work pants.
Oh.
I'm literally here to grab Duncan.
I know a song about that. Work pants. Yeah, Lady Gaga sang it.
Oh, you're silly.
G'day everyone, g'day Brett. Okay,
Have a good day, guys. Bye.
I've just had a major distraction because you stole an hour off me, you buggers.
Sorry.
No, they've gone back an hour or forward an hour for daylight savings, and this is normally a 12:30 p.m. thing, and it's 11:30, and it's like, I've got to walk the dog, I've got to vote, I've got to do all of that. Have you voted today?
No, I'm going to do that later.
Ooh, by 6 o'clock?
Yeah.
Otherwise, $200 fine.
Do you know where Duncan is?
In the shower.
In the shower?
Yes, he has gone to the shower.
Yeah, no worries.
It is lovely to see you, my darling, even if you are interrupting my group session. Sorry about that, fellas and ladies and anyone else that's watching. Look at what's behind me. G'day, David. Hope you're doing well in Lancaster, I think it was. Hope your show is selling out. Always. David, you're an accomplished artist, and I love your work, mate. I love it. I'm so glad you're in the group. Now, it's been 2 weeks since I last saw you. Last week, I wasn't feeling very well. Certainly wasn't up for doing this. But this week, back on form. Back to normal. Managed to carry that lot home the other day. Which, yeah, that's part of why I wasn't well last weekend, because I overdid it. But, a score! You're welcome, David, anytime. Guess, what am I going to do with it? I don't know yet, but when those pieces of wood are that big, I'll get a piece. I'll get a small piece. Not to 3 dowels. This is, the small one. The carvings I can do on here, and here, and here, and here. I can make this a giant study stick. Yay! Hello, Maggie. It's so nice to see some of you that I know well, and it's nice to see every week. The numbers in the group go up and up and up, and we've got all sorts of goodies for newbies. I wanted to have a quick word about the challenges. In the fact that we can't be in-person group, so all we've got is live and the group. In the files there's a whole lot of information. Files are starting to get a little bit messy, but I'm making a couple of files that are the directories, if you like. They'll allow a lot more navigation through the files, and we won't worry about too much about how messy it is in there. I've been in other groups where they have page after page after page after page of files. Now, we're not quite at that stage yet, but we do have 2 or 3 pages, and they're starting to get a little bit higgledy-pickledy. So it dawned on me the other day that one of the things I can do is I can create a file that leads to things like conversations. There was a conversation back in October, for example, September, October, that was about how do you stop a spoon from going rancid, and the write-up tells you everything you need to know about what sort of mineral oils, what beeswax, the whole lot. Hello Tammy, hello Lucas. yes, the file. We have conversations that have gone on, and because I've been in the group and I've been watching so much for so long, all up here. So what I'm doing is slowly building up a file that I don't think I've made it accessible yet because there's only a couple of links. But there will be links to conversations. So if you want to know about spoons, you'll be led to a conversation that happened months ago with lots of information in. So I'm going to be doing that for people like John Overby, who did he did a sharpening, a proper sharpening when you're not stropping, when your knife is blunt beyond stropping sharper, being able to sharpen it stropping wise. So I will be making links to that. We did have an older one where somebody did the same sort of thing, but John Overby did it better. We've got in one of the files is on stropping, Franklin. He did his own video that he uploaded onto YouTube, which again I will link. So if you want to know about knife sharpening, you'll find that in this new file. I've got two. I've got the directory, and that leads you to challenges and a few other places. And I might expand on the one file so that it's easy for me to keep in, say, the pinned post, easily accessible for everybody rather than having to search through a pile of files. Does that make them files? With a P? Oh, I like their files. Nice tools. Okay, yes. Got all of that. Not sure what I'm going to do with it yet, but happy as Larry because that's a nice score. I do have, just 1 second. Ping! Oh, get off of those washing lines. It wasn't just those, I've got those as well. I walked past them, they were in a skip, and I walked past the long ones, and 2 nights I picked one up, and then the following night I picked up the next one, and then the next day I had to pick up the bed head and carry it home. But that's all about that. That doesn't matter, that's nothing to do with the group. Last time I spoke to you, we talked about a smaller carve holding so that I can put one on my desk. I'm part way through it. As you can see, it's just a trailer coupler. I think it's a bit loose in there, so I will do some adjustments. I've got a screw and coach bolts. I've got screw and coach bolts that lock it. It locks it from side to side, but it doesn't apply enough pressure yet. So, oh, it is a nice already. Nice to see you. So yes, like that does lock, but not very well. I need to do a bit more working on it, and I want to put some kind of vise, but I want it to be a wooden, so that if I slip with my tools I don't damage my tools, because of course if you hit metal with your tools you'll blunt your tools. You don't want to be hitting metal, so I'm eradicating the metal by be able to do that. And if I put a closing vise on it, then I'll be able to hold. Hello, my darling, you off, are you?
Yeah.
Well, it was lovely to see you. Hopefully I'll see you before next weekend.
No worries.
Come back here.
What?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Blazy.
Why?
Happy birthday to you.
Tomorrow.
Right.
No, it's
Hooray.
tomorrow.
Oh, it's Paddy's Day today then.
Yeah.
Oh, be joking, Gora. I'm gonna kiss the blarney
Okay,
storm.
look, I'm saying goodbye.
Oh, it's so lovely to see you. Oh, hang on, it's your birthday tomorrow, isn't it?
Yes, it is my birthday tomorrow, but that doesn't mean you have to do anything.
No, I don't have to do anything. Oh no. You make me $30? I was going to give you 50, but I don't have one in here. 30 okay?
I don't need your money.
Oh no, it's your birthday present. Okay, have a birthday present on me.
Thank you.
Buy a slab of beer or something.
Yeah, I will.
Nearly. 18.
Almost. I've got to go. I love you.
Well, go then.
Straight
you make
Bye, beginners wood carvers.
You're making me look bad.
Thank Thank you, Dad.
Jeez, these redheads come in and they just walk all over you, give you a hug out of... Oh, Jerry says happy birthday! So, oh, happy St Patrick's Day, although you're not there yet. We are. And yes, tomorrow's her birthday. She's 24 tomorrow. Sorry to involve you within my family deals, but everybody just gets involved. I'm going to have a sip of coffee. I was sort of prepared today. Now, yes, okay. For all the new people, g'day and welcome to the group. We're a good bunch here. Fantastic bunch, actually. We've had a good week. You've seen that. Okay, that's out of the way. I can put that out of the way. Now, the challenges. We've got, I don't know, 15, 16 challenges. Hi, Gail. We've got 15 or 16 challenges, I think, today. Maybe even a couple more than that. Now, what the challenges will do is they're in lieu of lessons, because it's informal, isn't it? Like, we're a group. This is a hobby. Well, yeah, right, an obsession, more like. Rapture. I love the rapture when I'm carving. So yes, we have challenges instead of lessons. Now, the challenges are there. There's an array of difficulties within the challenges. You will find the challenges in the files or in the photo albums. They exist in two places. One leads to the other. The challenges, if you do them all, you'll go from being a beginner to an intermediate carver. You'll be able to, by the time you can do, say, the Tin Man and John Overby's face carve, step by step, the best one to begin with is a ball, and then followed by the heart, because both will teach you the nature of the grain, how you carve up and carve down into the grain, and it will teach you some knife control. Have a glove on. We've had lots of discussions about gloves and songs, and to the point of almost prophylactic proportions, which was a lot of fun the other week. We're not all serious. There's a lot of fun in the group. The people, it's the people. The people are the group. If you like, it's a bit like I'm the bus driver, that's all. And we're on a destination. The destination is to learn how to carve or to enjoy the journey, one or the other, or both. So yeah, start with a heart and then pick and choose. Because if you find that a challenge is too hard, move on to one of the easier challenges. Once you've got that mastered, you'll have mastered the knife a lot better, which means that you'll know a little bit more about carving. You'll know about not slicing your hands open. This comes from the challenges, and eventually, if you do all the challenges like some of the people have done, upload your photos into the album, please, if you can. If you drop it in the comments, I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to put it in there, and it's going to be me putting your picture up, link to you. So if anybody posts on it, both of us will hear about it. I prefer you to upload, but that doesn't always happen. Sometimes it's a bit confusing. Different platforms can't upload, don't know where to. Hi Corey! Oh, thank you. I'm feeling much better, as you can probably see, especially if you saw me with my daughter singing Happy Birthday. Oh my God, I sang live. I never ever thought I would sing live in front of potentially 12,000 people. Well, 9,999. Oh, 12,000 people. Okay, so the last challenge that we had was St Patrick's Day, which is today. And I put this one into the file, and I was so happy with this because this took me 3 hours, and all I had was a basic idea of a shamrock and a leprechaun. And slowly I thought, and I worked backwards. I worked from the back of the piece of wood. I worked from the back to the front, which was unusual. I didn't have any drawings. It just developed, and I'm really, there we go. I was really happy with that, and that came out of the gelaton, the jutalong, gelaton, which is available mostly from Indonesia, the Philippines, and Australia. So it's our version of your basswood. It's on the Janka scale. I don't know if it's Janka or Yanka. Let's call it the Janka scale until I'm corrected. Basswood sits at 410. So that's 410 pounds to blast a steel ball halfway of the dimension of the steel ball. It's about half-inch ball into the wood, and it takes 400 and yes, we do get addicted to the blades. It takes 410 psi, pounds per square inch, to fire the steel ball into basswood. 390 for gelaton, so it's a little bit easier, just a bit easier to carve. Beautiful, love the stuff. Take time for breath. Right, now we have the challenges. They're in varying degrees. Please try and do some, because once you've done them, you join an elite club of the people that have done them. So that's a really good thing, and you'll learn a whole lot of skills while you're doing it. Like I said, John Overby did a video of face to face. He used to have a slideshow, and the slideshow was the first thing I ever made as a video. There were a few things I didn't know about the editing program, like if you pop the picture to a certain size, it would pop back to its normal size. So I got the arrows in the slightly wrong place. I learned a lot by doing that, but it's amazing how much I've learned since then. So it's taken, what, 8 months of intense studying, and suddenly my brain is like, yes, we're about to have a storm. It's incredibly windy behind me. You can probably hear it. We had thunder a minute ago. I wasn't sure whether or not I was going to be outside or inside doing this, but outside's better. It's a little cooler. It's quite warm. Yeah, so the challenges will lead to competency as a carver, really. I mean, you then it becomes your choice. And excellent flex cuts for the stepson. Remember, the KN 600 is a good beginner set. Only it doesn't come with a strop, and it doesn't come with any compound, so you know that though, because you're Eddie. You're the snake cane man who's got a brand new Arbortech mini grinder and loving it. Boy, that will speed your work up. Yeah, so the challenges. Now, what direction are the challenges going in? Well, looking at the books and reading some of Harold Enlow's stuff, I've had access to a couple of books I didn't have before, and I've had to squeeze through them. And what happens is with the intermediary part is you get onto study sticks. Now, there is a study stick challenge, but when we did it, oh, but Jesus, he's working on a leprechaun. I hope you get it done too. Now, my study stick, the very first one I did, absolute piece of rubbish, mind you. I bet it did speed it up. I know what those things are like. Brilliant, brilliant tools. Now, I did a study stick where I followed the video from Sharon Mayart, and but I got lost when I was doing it. I had so much fun carving the faces that my study stick basically went out the window. No, I'm not going to throw it. And that is a piece of pine. It's awful to carve, but yeah. Okay, so study sticks is where we're going now. I noticed that eyes seem to be a major problem. Now, the next challenge is Easter, because it's a big event. Shops are shut. The faithful love it because of what it represents, and of course it's also spring for you guys in the Northern Hemisphere, or announcement of spring. So Easter, so eggs, bunnies, chickies, crosses, you choose. I have to build a file up on it. I haven't done that yet because the end of the St. Patrick's Day is for you guys tomorrow, but for us today. Yes, okay, so your study sticks will come in after Easter. So we're going to do the Easter one first, and then we're going to be working on study sticks. Yes, it does get a bit like that, and with all the little slices that happen and the stabs that go through your gloves. If you stab through the glove, you're going to get cut. So learn knife control. I know that the skilled workers don't generally tend to use gloves because they've mastered the art of the knife. But I did read that a guy of 30, he'd been carving for most of his adult life, was tired one night, and that's all it took. He slipped, and he ended up with a shortened finger, because he actually severed the tendon in his finger and ended up being like that. So getting used to a glove. It's funny now, I picked up my knife to clear a piece of paint that I managed to get down the nose of my leprechaun last night. And I picked up the knife and went to slice it, and my hand didn't feel right. And I looked, and the glove was on the desk. Now, the last time I cut my finger, which is a beautiful little bit there, which is all healed. It's a little sore on the inside, but it's basically sealed and healed on the outside, so cool. But I did that because I needed to do one cut, so just to scrape the paint off, I put my glove on, and suddenly my hand felt right. So we adapt and we get used to wearing gloves, even if we don't like them. I'm not really keen on them, but hey, I prefer my fingers whole. I did slip with the glove on, and it didn't cut the glove and it didn't cut me, whereas if I hadn't have had the glove on, I would have had another cut. Not when I was doing that bit on the nose. Okay, yes, like study sticks. I've been working on playing with faces for quite some time. Yes, always wear gloves. I like this one because of its weirdness. It was just playing, but in the end it comes out in the nature of a kind of study stick where it's studying faces. It's not doing the same thing over and over and over again. But of course, I didn't just do one. I've done multiples where the faces overlap. Big nose there. Didn't make that one a nose. I should have done. But just playing and doing silly little bits while watching the feed, basically. I did a yelling face, which I kind of like that one. A bit different, but when I'm not actually doing BWC, I'm sitting watching, and when people ask questions, I love questions, because I didn't know what questions to ask when I first started doing this. We get some frequently asked questions like what knives, what wood, where do I get these things. Slowly but surely starting to sort out the frequently asked questions so that I can lead people to the file that gives them the answer. It's a bit slower than telling one person at a time, but then one piece of information helps everybody rather than lots and lots and lots of different opinions. We've done some research. FlexCut are one of the easiest to get hold of. They are adequate knives. I haven't tried some of the better ones. I have got some file gouges, and they are, like, I can see why people that use files say FlexCuts are for beginners. But I agree, they're for beginners. The FlexCuts are very, they're sharp, they do the job, and they're good tools to learn on to keep sharp. So I advocate FlexCut, although I contacted them to see whether or not we could organise a discount for the group members, and I was quickly put in my place. Even though we've got 12,000 people, they don't want to know. Mainly because if I get in touch with head office, then we'll see. I am working on that. If I can get discounts for us, I will. I'm trying. That's all I can say on that one. Yes. One of the things about eyes, Corey, is when I do the study stick after Easter, I'm going to try and get ahead of the challenges instead of behind them. Then that way I can make the file to show how to do these things rather than borrowing from some of the members, which I've done in the past. I don't want to take off of the internet because of copyright infringement. In fact, we all have to be aware that copyright infringement is a real thing, and the more computers come into our lives, more chips come into our lives, the more copyright is going to become an issue. So, firstly, if I put anything up, you're free to use it because I give everything away. I don't maintain the copyright issues. If you want to use anything that I've designed, by all means do. Hopefully a few of you have had a practice at the STAR method of facial proportions, being able to line eyes up with noses and mouths, and it being consistent. That's why I've promoted the STAR method, because I've looked at the other ones and I've tried the other ones. I've been working. I was a drawer. I drew and I painted before I started carving. So I was trying to get 3D in my drawings. So I've tried many different methods of both scaling and drawing faces, and I find that the STAR method is just the easiest by far. Yes, it's the some of the policies of like a face is 5 eyes wide. That remains the same. Your eyes are basically half between the top of your head and there, so you've got your centre line runs pretty much through the eyes, so that locates them. The triple distance, that also locates. So it's a very good way if you want to scale up a portrait or a photograph. Very, very easy way of doing that, and I'm going to be promoting it. It's in a file called Face Proportions. If you haven't tried it, have a play. Just draw on a bit of paper, throw down a 5-pointed star, and see that, wow, this works every time. It's a bloody good system. Okay, so the study 6 that I'm going to do after the Easter challenge will be, the first ones are going to be on eyes, because it seems to be the problem that we all have is eyes. Even I have problems with them. I went to doing resin eyes because, well, they look, in my opinion, they look better than dead flat wood eyes, or even rounded and polished and painted. I don't know. Wood doesn't really portray the medium that our eyeballs are made up of, the highly reflective, moist, wet ball of fluids with a skin on it. Wood doesn't represent that, so you've got to be bloody good at doing eyes, and it takes time. So we're going to be doing the study stick on eyes, and we'll go over it and over it and over it until we can all do eyes in our sleep. I think that's a good idea. Idea? No. Somewhere along the line we're going to be doing some things like animals in the challenges. But if you have an idea, you the group members, if you have an idea that you'd like to see as a challenge, throw it up on the feed. The popular ones we'll pick up on. So you get to choose some of the challenges that we do. With 16 or 17 challenges, if they're 2-week challenges each, I can get the top eyelid, and the bottom lid is just figuring out how to leave the eyeball up. Well, don't forget the eyeball is round. It's rounded within that lid, so they are hard. But yes, we're going to do that in a study stick form, and we'll do that for a fortnight. The challenges all last about 2 weeks. That gives you plenty of time. That means if you're working and you don't have much time, or if you have more time, then 2 weeks is only a guideline. Looking for the word. Yeah, so with 17, that's 34 weeks. That's over 6 months of carving if you go through the challenges one by one in a 2-week time frame. Soon we're going to have more. By this time next year, there should be a lot more. It's the intention. Do you guys have anything that you want to discuss? Because I've come on this week, I've shown you my wood, I've talked about the challenges, I've shown you that my coupling vise is coming together, and how easy it was. I will do diagrams and things once it's all finished. I haven't taken photographs, but I can, because I think I'm going to have to redo the bottom. It's a little bit loose. I didn't get the ball size properly. Now, when I work on this, I'm not sure what this is going to become, but I'm thinking I'm starting to acquire a large amount of small carvings. Funny that. And I don't want to just throw them in the back of the cupboard. I've worked hard on them. I've gained achievements. These are my trophies. You'll get trophies too if you do them. I still have the chain to do, because 3 failures. I'm going to take note of the picture that I put up in, and I'm going to work out the links, and I'm doing it again. I do not like failing. I can't believe that one was a choice of the wood. I did one on pine, that wasn't a good idea. I did another one on, I don't know what that wood was. I know it was a very, very long grain. It was good for furniture, but it wasn't good for carving. And as soon as I started to try and make the chain, the links just broke. And I hadn't even touched them with a knife at that point. So I don't like it when something doesn't go the way that I want it to go. So I have more to do on the chain. I've got a couple of catch-ups. I also owe the Santa file a Santa, and I've got to do a cane at some point. The cane challenge is the only one that's kind of, if you wish to, because can you source the materials? Do you have all of that? No, I just learnt some lessons of what not to do. Thanks, Gail. The only failure is in not trying. So if you don't try, you fail. But if you try and you have a mistake, it's a design change. It's amazing how we convince ourselves of these things. But yes, I wish to actually put a completed chain in the challenge folder. So I'm going to be working on that. Easter, I don't know what I'm going to do yet. Could be as simple as an egg. Or it could get complex. I don't know. I haven't. I've just done St Patrick's Day, so to be sure. Tip of the day. Don't do that very often. Will a jigsaw work on wood 2 inches thick? Yes, but slowly. Don't push it. The blade will. Yes. You need to use a long blade, not a short one, because of course you'll just. But yes, I screwed up the crossing like I was doing. It went, no, not to the trash can. No. I'm sorry to hear that. You're doing very well on those tatting shuttles. You're pumping them out now. Like, what is it? 1 or 2 every couple of weeks. You've done quite a few. Very impressive to see them progress and get better. And you've had a learning curve, like I did with the chain. Okay, well, I'm not sure what now. Did I write anything down as a thing? Challenges being the path to carving. Paddy's Day, Easter, challenges. Bedhead and you to welcome. Vice, wood holder. I'm not sure. I think I'm going to have to go to like a clamping. Not clapping, clamping system on my coupling holder. My table is a mess. I need to get out here, and I'm sitting in front of all this shit everywhere, which you would have seen when I put up the picture of that when it was whole, through it, because the table's like, I moved 1 or 2 tools. I've got to clear it so that I can start being more professional. Excuse me, that was 1 tin of beans too many. Oh, smells. I'm a vidiot. Worked it out. I'm an Australian vidiot. Oh look, I've seen some things on the feed. Wicked. I can't remember names, but the cupboard with all the wavy lines. Lucy Lee or something. I don't have my computer in front of me. I mean, that's just outstanding. I've seen those cupboards online and thought, oh, that's really nice, and wonder how it was done. And he showed us. Wicked. He did it all with gouges now, of course, with some of the Lancelot tools. We've got some grinders that could speed that whole process up. Are you in the picture, are you, Charlie? You've turned up. Look at that. Oh, would you like one of these? She's such a good girl. Walks me constantly. Had to vote today. If I didn't, it was a $200 fine. And I hate voting for incompetence. Okay, sit down. There you go. One for you. Good girl. Not that you can see that, because the camera's not quite pointed right. But, do you want that one? What about that one? Or even that one? Oh, thank you, Luann Lisi. Yes, that's a fantastic piece of cupboardage, and I'm so glad he showed us how it was done. When we know how, sometimes we can do. That's why some people don't give away niche market skills, and I agree with that. But it's so nice to see something that you love, how it was done. I don't know if I'll ever get around to doing that. Depends on what I find. Does she bark with an accent? Yeah, Chinese. She's a Chinese dog. She doesn't understand a word I say. Actually, she does. She understands sit, but that must be universal. She barks a lot when I go to the shops. I leave her outside, and I've even got my shopkeeper friend who happens to be in Beginners Woodcarvers. She barks outside his shop the whole time, and the staff often go out and pat her and keep her quiet while I'm in there. I love my shopkeeper. He's such a good dude. Thanks, Michael. And thanks, Michael's dad, who hasn't posted. Not that he has to. But we like it when people post in the group because it's interactive. You can shout, there you go. Did you hear the accent? Thanks, Ty. That's through me. Dog barking, speaking Australian with a Chinese accent. Yes, love Michael, and okay, posting. When we post, it's what the rest of us can interact off of. So by posting your work, one, we can see where you're at. Two, we can lay encouragement where we don't do criticism, please. We don't do criticism. What we do is you look at what's good, you promote what's good, and if you see something that the person can benefit from and they have asked you, then please help. But do it nicely, positively. There's a nice way of saying things, and then there's a blunt way. So let's stay away from the blunt. We don't want to have hurt feelings and stuff. Saturday night, tomorrow night may well get a little bit rowdy because it's St Patrick's Day, lots of green beer, here comes the rain, lots of green beer, so we may have to be visible with marshals and stuff tomorrow night. I hope not, because most of the group's a good group, but we do get people coming in, and I don't know, alcohol does things to people and attitudes do things, so that's why positive, like it's positive in the group. And I am about out, so I guess I should really push that button that says finish pretty soon, because I wouldn't want to bore you any more than I already do. I'm going to come on here and I'm blah blah blah, waffle waffle waffle, but I love the group. I think that is obvious. Having time off last weekend was, I was unburdened for a while, felt like shit being crook, but it was nice to actually have a little bit of time off, but I also missed the group. I can't say, okay, my computer isn't about Facebook, it's not about my computer, it's about this group. Thanks, Tammy, appreciate that. Oh, look at that, never boring. Unless, of course, I am boring. Before I came on, I was boring this. So I am sometimes boring. That's very, very nice. Study sticks, challenges, files, knives. Keeping us in touch with what's going on. Oh, well, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm sticking my ugly fizzle in your face. And not only that, the faces of all these people that will watch this afterwards. And these go on now, they're long-winded. But it is, the way I look at it is, how does the group feel? Well, the bus driver must talk. I was a taxi driver, and I was not one of the silent ones now. Okay, I did that before mobile phones really came in, so people weren't sitting there and me interrupting them by talking. But in the cab, I used to find that the best times were when we had a good laugh and a chat, and It puts you at ease, it puts me at ease, everything's cool, we know where we're at. Some of my head is filled with the feeds, scrolling through the last few days and seeing spoons and swords, faces galore, comfort birds, comfort crosses, unusual things, tatting shuttles. Thank you for all you do. Joined the group recently and really enjoyed it. Thanks, Eric. Can't wait to go on the carving show tomorrow at Millersville. I will be a kid in a candy. Oh, I wish I could come. I wish I could come along with you. Sorry, I have a really, really dirty mind. What is it? My mind is as dirty as this video is long. Millersville, yes, there's a show in Millersville. There's a show in Lancaster and there's a show in Millersville. They have been on the feed, so that's more. Just trying to think. Corey's Policeman was very good. He had a little bit of help, a little bit of advice, and it didn't quite turn out the guy that he wanted originally, but bloody hell, he did a good job. I saw somebody broke their heart. Looked at how much intricate work was gone into that, and lovely lady does spoons a lot. There's too many names in the group, can't remember. I can see it in my head, but just can't get it out of my mouth. Like my foot. If I took my foot out, I'd be able to remember the bloody names. Just a plane ride away. A long plane. I'm afraid it's about a 28-hour flight, I believe. Also, I've heard from people that have done it, because we're a bit into your future and it takes time. I'd be going backwards in time if I went there. Do you know, if I left now and got there this time right now, I would have travelled 13 and a half, 12 and a half hours, because you stole an hour off me, you buggers. I'm still dark about that. Alright, well, happy St. Patrick's Day to come. Kirsten, if you watch this, I'm getting closer to doing the resin video for you. I may even do it on one of the lives so that I share it with everybody, because if you share it on the feed, everybody gets to see it. If you do it in a private message, it's a one-on-one. I prefer to deal on the feed, because even if you have a problem or I have a problem and we discuss it on the feed, everybody that reads it has access to the knowledge that's imparted. So it seems better to do things on the feed than it does privately. But that's good. Oh, you want to see resin? Okay, I can do that. Lisa Gray, thank you very much. Lisa Gray, I'm so sorry to see that your heart is broken. It's nothing worse than a broken heart. I hope you can mend it. It's so intricate and so delicate. Okay, what type of bed? That's pine, unfortunately. The posts, they are, hang on, let me double check. They're definitely pine. They're 6-inch square. Yeah, they're 6-inch squares. So it's just pine, but the fact is I'm used to dealing with pine. If I get the power tools to them, I can't help it. I look at those posts, and one I see glorious wood. Fell in love with it. Ah, what kind of glue would you use to mend the heart? I would say I would go with, I might go with normal wood glue. Oh, cool, free wood for carving, absolutely, absolutely. Even if they end up as just chips, then not a loss. I probably would use normal wood glue I might use epoxy, an epoxy glue, so that it sets and holds. Super glue, maybe. But if I used normal wood glue, I'd learned a little trick, and that is hot glue gun. You put the wood glue on, sandwich it together, maybe a little bit of tension, bit of string to apply tension, and apply a bit of tension, and then use a hot glue gun to put a few dobs of hot glue over the top of it. Now that's going to hold it sealed with the wood glue inside, and you're going to get a bloody good seal. And then all you do at the end of it is carve off the plastic from the hot glue gun. If you have trouble with it sticking, then heat it up, scrape it off. So far I've never had a problem with that. I've been able to do that, and I was shown, I believe so, I was shown by a wood turner. He used wood glue to, he used a hot glue gun to actually stick some stuff to the lathe. Why not crushed stone in your epoxy? Well, not necessarily in not necessarily on a broken heart, but look, I've bought some new resin. I haven't tried this particular brand of resin yet. I couldn't get the brand I was used to. I make eyes. Okay, I wouldn't put crushed stone in there. One, you won't be able to carve it because it will bugger your knife. I bought some yellow or gold fluoro, not fluoro, luminescent yellow powder, which I will be able to add to the epoxy now. Through eBay I've bought some $1 moulds. I've got, I think, 5 eyes on one strip, or yeah, five eyes, and I bought four of them so I can make 20 eyes at once. Now I cheat because I'll get I'll go to Google search images and look for eyes, then I screenshot them, I go into Photoshop and I slap down all of them to make an A4 up, and the A4 is covered in the right size eyes. Now getting the sizing right, it's been a bit dodgy. I've got two failures inside, but it's ready to print out the third one on the right side. So then I'll just cut the eyes out, do the resin, and then drop, hello Fred, then I drop the picture on top of the back side of the lens, and then that way when you look at it, it's magnified and you've got the pupil. Now of course our pupils sit on the surface, so that's a little bit of fiddly stuff. I need to go through and fill them up with water so that I can calculate the volume, because I use syringes to take the resin out of the tin, and then when I add the catalyst I mix it up, and of course then I know how much I need to use. I've been playing with resin for a while. It's beautiful. If you've got cracks and things, lots of fun. But I've also got some pendant staff which I'm thinking, Tim and Andrea had done those little tiny faces, and I thought, what if I did a couple of them and drop them into a pendant? That would look good. So I'm going to be fiddling. Going back to the hot glue gun, this was part of a routing to make a big ball. You turn it like that and the router goes up and down, and you end up with a ball shape. Now this, I could put screws through it, that's why it's got holes in it, so that I could screw into the ball, which I did on one side. But then when it came to flipping the ball, because you can only do half of it, you then flipped it round, and I was shown to hot glue gun around it, and then that holds it sufficiently to be able to route a ball. But this was my attempt at a bit of fun, crappy faced, a bit of pine, all wood, part of my own lathing system. Homemade, not machine. I can run it with a machine if I need to. I haven't got that far yet, with the belts and stuff. Yeah, more coffee. Okay, what kind of spoon knife you'd recommend? You make spoons. Yes, I've seen some of your spoons. Look, I bought a Beavercraft one, and adequate, cheap, comes from the Ukraine. It is capable of doing the spoons. It's one of the cheaper versions, but I've read good and bad reports about the Mora knife, the spoon carving knife. I would actually go with, there's some Scorps. I'd probably go with a Scorp next time rather than a spoon knife. But then that's probably because I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not experienced enough with spoon knives, and I can only relate what I've seen and read. I've seen good and bad results with the Mora knife. But then looking up the history of Mora knife, worth a look. They've been going for 150 years, 200 years, something like that. The history of carving in Scandinavian countries is just, it's astounding, because like you in the States, they have shitty weather during the winter. They're stuck inside, so carving used to be a major thing. Like, there was all sorts of things made that we now have mass produced. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Nectar of the gods, I totally agree. I should drink more and shut up. Now, now I'm going to have a horrible cigarette because I'm a smoker, and I know some of you are, and I know some of you just disgust the living daylights out of, but I'm sorry, I haven't quit yet. I find when I knowledge is just as useful as coffee. Oh yeah. Look, it's amazing, because you guys have asked questions and I've gone searching for the answers. When I first started being, that's okay, you can watch it later. When I first started this drive, because something changed in me where I suddenly started investing lots and lots of time into beginners woodcarvers. And we only had we barely hit the 1,000 people. I did a write-up the other night where I explained how the group has just grown phenomenally in 7 or 8 months, and we've got like 12,000 people, almost 12,000 people in the group now. It's just outrageous, and for somebody that's running a group that suddenly goes from 1,000 people to 12,000 people, it's like being hit by a Mack truck, literally. The level of information, the quality of the information, all needed to up the game. Can't smell the smoke. Don't have to put up with second-hand smoke. Well done, Jerry. Yeah, the thing was like the knowledge and the information. I've had to go and do research, and I've had to read, and I've read up on all the different knife companies in America and across the world, and I've learned a whole lot of information. I don't necessarily have the experience yet to go with some of that information, but I am getting it. I'm enjoying how expanded. Now, I came on this journey so that I could learn how to carve with finesse, like a surgeon, not like a chainsaw artist. I wanted the skill range from chainsaw artist right the way back down to miniatures, and I'm getting it. If an Aussie can learn what I've learnt, then it should be easy peasy for anyone else that's not an Aussie. I mean, we still smoke here. That's how bad Aussie is. Yes, so the files are starting to fill out. What I'm going to do too, today a woman in the tatting group said she was sick of seeing my tatting shuttles. what a negative thing to say. I guess when you specialise, some people find that your specialisation. Yes, they also make my teeth brown, which I'm very conscious of and I hate, but I've seen it so many times over the last 8 months. Yeah, click the little box so no notifications. Yeah, information. So one of the things I intend to do, now that I've got access to a decent wood shop that has access to exotic, they call them exotic woods, and they're everyday woods to you, but they're exotic to here. Because there's a supply there, and I got some box elder, and I got some red cedar, and I'm very grateful that that came my way. So thank you very much. I don't want to use the woods. I've got all these nice woods coming, and it's like, oh no, I can't use it. So I want to be able to use wood. So next time I buy it, I have to buy a small piece and a big piece. And the small piece is for my collection of woods. So that way, if you say to me, what's such and such like to carve, I can go to my shelf, pick up a small block. But I thought I would make, I don't know if you saw, I didn't bring it out. I've got a cube inside a cube. I can let you in on how they're made. Really easy if you've got a drill press and Forstner bits. Take like less than 5 minutes. Oh, the box elder, and I should show you them. They're beautiful. One side has got this beautiful pinky colour through it, and the cedar is white and russet red. And I'm looking at them thinking, oh, what to carve? Something will come up. So I'm very grateful to have received that. Yeah, I'm thinking I might make lots and lots and lots of little cubes within cubes of the different types of wood, so that I've got an idea of what those woods are like. Then I'm going to, because of copyright infringement, I don't want to take the information from somewhere else on the internet and put it into our group. I'm going to have to rewrite them. So you're going to get my opinion on the different types of wood that I can get access to. I will give you a description of carvability. I will write up some of what's said in other groups, but I will do it in my words, and then that way I'm not copyright infringing. Copying is be original. Try to be original. Learn the skills. Okay, looks like some nice pieces behind you. Well, yeah, I did walk. I did close to a mile with that on my bloody back. The people on the train were the funniest though, because I watched the train go past, and there I had this bloody frame on my back, and people on the train, I had the dog on the lead. I was holding the frame up with one hand, got the dog on the other lead, and the people on the train went as they went past. So that had me cracking up. I guess that's what happens when you walk around with a big bed head on your back. It's not something people are used to seeing, and I must admit, with the size of it, I didn't think I was going to survive the journey. I thought, what am I thinking of? Now, yes. So I'm going to carve the woods. I'm going to find out what the woods are like. As I get access to different types of wood, I will write up a wooden file. Yeah, absolutely. I'll write up a file on the different types of wood so that we can share. Now, I'm happy to have other people's experiences used in the file. So if you've used a wood and you can give me a rundown on carvability, colour, smell, what looks good on it, like Danish oil or polyurethane or whatever. That's another thing that's going to be done. There's a thing about raising the grain. When you carve a spoon, as spoons came up, when you carve a spoon and you've sanded it and you've got it really, really nice and flat, wet it, because all the little grains at the end of the tubes cap over the straws. I think of pieces of wood as a whole bunch of straws, and the end grain is like looking down a whole bunch of straws. Well, when you sand it, what happens is it gets a little cap. The cap goes over the straw. When you put water on it and you wash it, they curl, and then you're able to clean them up, and it gets rid of all the little fuzzies. So wash your spoon, see what happens, and then give it another sand, maybe from the other direction. Okay, that's that and that and that and that. And any questions? Why do I smoke so much? Why do I talk so much? No questions. Don't soak it. No, just wash it. Yes, you don't want to soak it. Sorry. Dampen it. Give it a wipe over with a wet rag. Not soaking wet. Damp rag. Is that better? Your information, you guys know so much. A lot of the information that I have is secondhand from you. I read so many of the threads. I read so much that's on the feed. Yes, I miss some of it that happens during the American day because got to sleep sometime. Some of that is shown to me by Facebook. I don't see it all. But the knowledge that you guys contain, it's good to have the skilled people in the group because, well, you guys are knowledgeable. Do you know knowledge? I've had. Do you find your handles on FlexCut slipping in? Yes, absolutely. They have a mind of their own and they go the way that they wish sometimes, especially when they're connected to grain. Yes, I do find that they're a little slippery. I haven't tried taking the finish off of them, but yeah, they're a little slippery. There are some solutions. I've seen putting like you can put like latex on it. You can dip it in that rubber stuff. That will give you more. Thank you for forming this group, and thank you very much for letting me power. Hey, Caleb, we're here as a group. You're as much of the group as I am. The only difference is I've got buttons you don't have. That's all. The group's wonderful. I love the group. It's now my life. All I do is eat, sleep, drink, think about beginners woodcarvers. You guys, I don't have personal friends. I don't make particularly personal friends. So I, like a lot of you, have found my social life now on the net. And yes, when I go for a dog walk, sometimes you come with me. Sometimes, occasionally, I make walking videos when we have a reason to do. I haven't done so recently. I will get back to doing the odd one because it's nice to see the stuff that comes up on the feed from the photos on a well, it's just nice to see your work come up when it's yours. Too many beans again. Do you fart? Do you fart one after the other? Even fart in stereo. I've lost the plot. So yes, Maggie, there are some liquid rubber that you can put on there. Try the hand with a latex glove on. I haven't tried that yet, but I'm sure that would work. I do have. That's a rubber type glove. This is the wrong hand. I'm right-handed, but yes, just by putting a rubber glove on, yes, can rub 80 or 100 grit sandpaper on the knife handles to rough them some, and the hand won't slide as much. True. Because I would be using this hand to carve, but just putting that in there, no, it doesn't twist as much. So maybe a latex rubber glove. It's worth a try, but like Eddie said, just roughing it up a little bit. The tape that they put on bats might help you. Yeah. It's one of the downfalls. I mean, I really like FlexCut knives, but then I've only got a Beavercraft Sloyd knife, which isn't as sharp. I'm hoping to get a Helvey soon, but that hasn't turned up yet. And I believe that looking at that's made out of skateboard material, or at least the ply that they use on skateboards. When I look at the colours of them, That appears to be the case with Helvey. I want to try some of the knives, but it's hard to get them. I can only get file and flex cut in Australia. I can't access any of the others. Amazon do not ship here, or limited shipping from Amazon. eBay tends to be the one that here. They don't have the deals on eBay that they have on Amazon. Certainly not $20 for a flex cut knife with free shipping. I mean, a flex cut knife here costs me much closer to between $50 and $60, Australian dollars, so a quarter more for the American monies. So when I pay $50, it's worth 62.5. 50 American dollars is 62.5 Australian dollars. $50 for a knife. I paid $50 each for my files, which I thought was a bit exuberant. I'm trying to find a source outside of Australia that is cheaper, but I haven't been able to find it. So getting hold of the knives. Look, I want eventually, 10 years from now, I will have a sample of most of the knives from most of the companies, so that I can test run them. I can say to you, look, this is a really good knife. These are the reasons why it's a really good knife. Flex cut come sharp. They're a little slippery. I manage with it. I manage with the slipping, but then I've got big hands. Yes, I want a Helvey. Yes, I want a Mora knife. Time. I also want. I need to get myself. That's a good question. Does anybody have the micro detailing knife from FlexCut? Because it's smaller. I do know that because my friend here in Blazes, other half, has got the mini Pelican knife. I'm looking at the mini detailing knife, because when I came to do his face, the face is very, very, very small, and although I got the features, I realised that even my detailing knife, the tip of my detailing knife is rounded and pointy. It's not pointy enough. Let's stick it in front of my face. That is not pointy enough. So in some ways, I'm thinking, well, when I go down to that sort of detail, I might even need to use an X-Acto knife, because I want the precision. These are really good, but they're not surgical tools. FlexCut, I like them. They do the job. Well, anyway, you guys, thank you for sitting for this duration with me. I have no idea at the time, because on my phone it was being used for live, so I can't actually see what the time is here. No good you telling me the time. I guess I will see you next week. I'm done. I'm like a turkey. I'm done like a turkey. Like a idiot that I am. So, thank you for your time, and I shall see you on the feed. So safe and happy carvings, guys. You ready? You ready? He's gone. Bye.